शुक्रिया। जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत।
लखनऊ जंक्शन
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
एक्सप्रेस पौरबती स्टेशन नेताजी भवन कृपया ध्यान दो।
All the concerns over the RCB bowlers have been silenced today because the bowlers have delivered along with some spectacular fielding by RCB. They have managed to wrap up GT's innings at 147. The seam bowlers were impressive. The outfield fielding was impressive. All in all, everything was impressive. And we are back at Cricbuzz Live. I have Polly Kaka and Joyda with me. Polly Kaka, as a bowler, you'd be feeling proud of RCB's efforts today.
Yeah, they were brilliant up front. You know, Dayal and Siraj were brilliant. They set a tone. They got the wickets under their belt. You know, the power play was dominated. Just the two boundaries in that entire power play. So they really put them on the back foot. And I must admit, that's the kind of surface I would expect more from Bengaluru. If they could get the choice of surfaces, that's what they want. Something completely different, not just a feather bed where people walk in and smash it. You've got to have something different where there's a bit of assistance for the bowlers, because I think the batters can deal with what they have to deal with when they come out and chase that. But they used those facilities brilliantly. It was definitely assistance, some steep bounce, and all their bowlers hit the deck hard back of a length and really were effective.
Joyda, today it looked like there was a plan and RCB executed that plan really well.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's about 17, 18 days, almost 20 days since they last played out here. So you can see there's a certain amount of, if you look at the pitch, it looked very unusual from the top. You know, there's
lot of green
in the middle, a lot of green in the middle. And those were the lengths that the bowlers were bowling. So look, I think whatever it is, I think this is probably what they wanted to do when they started off with the kind of attack they had and what they had, and they couldn't do it. And obviously execution helps because you had somebody like Siraj who actually pitched it up front and got those wickets. But once he did from both the other ends, I mean whether a Cam Green or a Dayal, the lengths that they bowled were ideal for this surface.
But what do you think was different today? We saw a very green surface, but we can clearly see that the lengths that Siraj bowled, like Joyda was saying, the lengths that Yash Dayal bowled, you said Cam Green, this kind of a pitch will assist someone like a Cam Green. So we just kind of saw them really following the plan that they had set out to follow.
Yeah, he's a very tall individual, that Cam Green, if you ever stand next to him in real life. He can definitely extract some bounce. And as Joy says, with them not having played there for a while, when I watched them at the start of the tournament, when they did have their games in Bangalore, that was definitely their strategy. We're going to hit back of a length and people are going to try and take us on. I thought GT mixed a trick. I thought instead of going cross-bat shots and trying to go down the ground, they needed to use that pace and bounce, because it's not a big carry. If you just kind of ramp the odd shot, it can clearly get over the boundary rope with absolute ease. But yeah, I mean, it is the plan that they wanted to execute, and you can't fault them today. I thought they were brilliant in what they did.
They were brilliant today, and I think this probably is the first time in the season we're going to say is let's have a look at the bowling card, and for all RCB fans, they'll be smiling year to year because that is one pretty bowling card there, Joyda.
Everyone contributed. Karan Sharma got smashed a bit, I think, because that was a one over where Rahul Tewatia really had to take somebody down, so he went after Karan Sharma. But if you take away that 19-run over, everyone has bowled well. Everyone, you take away that 19-run over, even he's under 10. And all the bowlers, I think they bowled to the plan. I thought Vyshak bowled really well. Each and every one of them contributed to, what this plan was. And I think the important thing is, again, if you get wickets up front, it makes a difference. It also didn't hurt that Swapnil Singh came in the first over and bowled a one-run over.
And they didn't need him to come back later.
They didn't need him to come back, and they were smart enough. That's the point. And, sometimes you just bring back that bowler for that extra one more over where the bat is a bit more settled, and he really goes. And I think they didn't make that mistake today.
I think if they'd known what the surface was going to play with, they would have gone hard in that first over. They wouldn't have allowed him just to go for one. And also Karan Sharma, he suffered at the expense of how well the others had bowled.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because it was the only opportunity. When he came on, even Miller thought, gee, this is my chance. I have to try and pick up some runs.
Well, they kept chipping away the wickets, which is why there was probably just one partnership that we can see here in the fall of wickets.
Yeah, basically two partnerships. I think Shah Rukh and David Miller had a bit of a partnership, and I think after that Rashid Khan and Tewatia had a partnership. And I think one was about 66 runs, the other was 44 runs. Those were the only two partnerships of any real, note. And I think that's a problem. If your third highest partnership is 11, you know that things haven't gone well for you unless those two partnerships have been so dominant. And I think that's the problem, that when the batsmen got settled, there was one of the things that we do not consider out here is there was some absolutely really good fielding.
Yes.
There was one catch dropped from Karan Sharma. But the rest of the fielding was outstanding. I mean, there was a run out.
Be it the run out, Kohli's run out, or even the catch that Yash Dayal took was a spectacular catch.
Yeah. They just fielded really well otherwise. And I think it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. Clearly, you can make out this is a side that thought it was big, had a lot of pressures of qualifying on it. Now the pressures are off and the chances are almost minimal. They are playing open, fresh cricket, and it's good to watch them.
Polly, we can clearly see a difference. Like Joyda is saying, they're playing open, fresh cricket. Virat spoke about how they'll play for pride. But, considering that the chances of them qualifying, they're still there. They're still there. It's not that they can't. If there's a miracle, like you said, that miracle all fans hope for, there's still that chance. But in the first half of the league, we've spoken about how RCB's been a little confused with the pitches they want to make. Do they want to doctor it to their batters or do they want to doctor it for their bowlers? And they've seemed to go towards the batters, and that hasn't worked for them this season.
Yeah, I think also, even if you're in that environment and you've got that many quality players and you aren't performing well, that's when you are a bit puzzled, aren't you? I think now they've kind of realised, this year's kind of maybe over and done with, but let's just try and get out to our strengths, back our natural skills and see how well we can play, and they seem to be coming really good. As we've said so many times, they've never been short of batters, so the fact that they're betwixt and between what they should or shouldn't back, it seems a little bit puzzling from my side. But I think also you change personnel coaching-wise. A new guy comes in and he thinks maybe some different ideas. Whereas I just think if they stick to the basics, prepare a stock standard surface that is different. You've got to have something different from the rest of the grounds. And then they've got the batting to deal with whatever it is.
I have a question for you. You saw Vyshak today. And, what do you think of him?
Yeah, I was impressed. I haven't seen much of him. And I liked the way he came in. I liked the areas he hit. He was odd when he cranked up to, I saw 145 was one of the deliveries. He doesn't look like he's the guy who's got that much behind him, but he obviously hits the bat hard and he enjoyed those conditions. He enjoyed the situation he bowled in. But yeah, nothing wrong. I was slightly surprised.
Well, the batters were surprised as well today. If you have a look at the batting card, I think I don't think Gujarat would want to have a look at that batting card because once again, Riddhiman Saha, Shubman Gill couldn't do anything today. Sai Sudarshan, who's been consistent, got out on 6. Then we saw David Miller and Shahrukh kind of have that partnership, and then Tewatia get 35. But Joyda, we've spoken so much about Riddhiman Saha and Shubman getting them to a good start, which just hasn't happened this season.
This hasn't happened, and Shubman has really tailed off. If you remember the first 4-5 matches, he was going well. He was going 250, 260, and then suddenly he tails off. And I think a large part of it is that they're not winning is telling on him. And somehow he seems to be batting much more careworn. He seems to be more worried about what's happening with the team. There's a lot going on out there, and he's not enjoying. He doesn't look as if he's enjoying himself. This is not a very typical Shubman, closing his bat, getting the, front edge, leading edge and going up. It's not typically Shubman to close his bat that early or play that kind of shot early. So I think that's it. You're looking at people who are not at this time confident. And again, you're looking at, Siraj. Siraj, what was his job? If you see at the start of the season, he's the one bowler who's not a back of the length bowler. For them, he's the bowler who pitches it up, swings it a bit. But his job was to get wickets, okay? And that's probably what he's designated for this entire tournament. Today was the day he got the wickets.
Yes.
And therefore, the moment you get the wickets, then that back over length becomes much more effective as well. Because new batters are going to walk in. And I think that's what happened. All the bowlers sort of chipped in with what they had. And I mean, then they bowled their lengths well. And I just think Gujarat didn't have a chance.
I think just the 2 wickets that would concern me from Gujarat's perspective was Miller's. Even they could see his reaction once he had mistimed it and was up in the air. He was so cross with himself because he'd kind of started to find his rhythm. He had started to hit 2 sixes off Karan Sharma, and he was kind of looking to go again. And that's why he'll be disappointed. The other one was Shah Khan. I mean, I understand he was slow in turning, but he changed the angle he was running to get out of the way of the ball. Normally in the past there's that rule that was introduced where you can't adjust because you can't get between. But all he had to do was turn around and run straight back to the crease, and it would have been on the angle, he would have been in the way. So, but he actually cleared out. He cleared out and allowed the stumps to be opened up. So, I think that was two big blows for them in the middle order.
But also a little bit more on Shubman Gill. We've spoken about the pressure of captaincy. Do you see that kind of really showing up on his batting?
It could be. It's not easy, when you become captain from a player in the side who's just focused on how he's batting, he's scoring big runs. All of a sudden, you go to bed and you're thinking about who's going to bowl here, what the team's going to be, what can I do there, how can I adjust my tactics to those particular batters. Whereas in the last year, it was just, I'm just thinking about that white kookaburra, how I'm going to play. And also when the team's not performing well, it's easy to captain and nice to captain when your team's performing well and you're also getting some runs. So those kind of things, you never know how to quantify the effect it has on you as a person or an individual in the team. But there's no doubt that extra responsibility when things aren't going well does weigh on your shoulders.
Joyita, well, today the openers didn't give them anything really to play with. The middle order started scoring at 9+ runs per over. And then again, we thought they'll come to your prediction score. We almost thought they'll come there, but that didn't happen. We have a look at the innings progression because from that 7th to 10th over, they were going at 9.5 runs per over.
I think that was it. It was the back was broken by that, that middle order collapse. I mean, you had four of their middle order players got set. If you look at it in a row, Rashid Khan got set. If you go from Miller, Shahrukh, Rashid, or the other way around, Shahrukh, Miller, Rashid, Tewatia. And that's the problem. If you have 4 guys like that who get set, you expect at least one of them to give you a large one, 60, 70, 80, or to stay to the end. And what happened? All 4 of them perished. And that's something which is a huge burden for them because they'll be looking at themselves. You never, in this format, T20 format, you never question a guy who's got out early.
Yes.
Because it happens. You're not set, the ball comes, you get a good ball, or you just try a shot and it goes. But if you're there batting at 25, 30, 35, batters like Miller, Shahrukh Khan, Tewatia, the experienced batters, they are expected to then go and finish. And given what situation their team was in, they should have. And they look at that and said, you had 4 missed opportunities in the middle order.
Worst power play of the season as well. 2 wickets down, 23 on the board. It's almost game sorted there.
Well, game was sorted, but with 147 to chase, the last game they had 200+ to chase. They had 4 overs. They had 4 overs left and they chased it down in 16 overs. So can we expect this game to end in 8 overs?
Well, you're talking about mathematical chances. This will have to be the game where the net run rate goes through the roof. So I would expect a real challenger. I mean, if you have a look where they're sitting, minus 0.415, they have to try and get that almost to a positive if there's any chance to get through on 14 points. So I'd expect them to come out and play their normal way. It's probably the best way, but just be in mind of how the surface played and how they might need to adjust the stroke playing accordingly.
So will Jacks to open?
Look, I don't think they'll change their batting because it's right now they're in that everything is successful or else let's just keep going that way. I would like to see Will Jacks open the batting, but I don't think they're going to go that way. But they're definitely going to say, let's try and do this in 10 overs, but let's try and make it safe first. Let's not lose 3 wickets suddenly in the power play and put ourselves in trouble. So, look, that way, you have the chase master there, Virat Kohli.
Yes.
And, there's been a lot of talk about whether Virat Kohli is, playing the kind of cricket that we need to do to win games in this. But these are any total below 200 and Virat Kohli is perhaps a perfect guy to chase because he knows how to chase under these kind of circumstances.
Well, he knows how to chase, and Gujarat also have a dent in their bowling because they can't get that impact bowler to come in. Vijay Shankar can bowl and roll his arm around, but they would have liked an impact bowler to come in.
Yeah, definitely. And that was why I was almost a little bit surprised because what did he come in? He came in like almost 16 or 17 overs. He couldn't really have a massive impact with the back end with the bat. And I thought the bowling option would have been required to try and get, because you're not going to be able to restrict them into the score in 20 overs. You're going to have to try and bowl them out. So the extra bowling option would have been ideal, but not going to be the case. Were you expecting some high score in the first 6 there, by the way you were talking just now, Joy?
I'm expecting a decent score in the first 6.
All right. You were the closest. So I think you should go for your 6-over prediction.
69.
He thought this through.
No, I didn't think it through, but I thought.
Okay, I'll go
That's
57.
Fine. I don't have too much space around. 57, 69. I'll go with 62.
But you've got
Yeah.
space this side. Actually,
You've got space on the lower side. But like Polly Kaka has said, that they should be chasing the net run rate and going for it hard. I think that's the thinking that Joyda and I have gone ahead with. Will Jacks is not opening. He will come one down, we presume. Let's see if our predictions come close. We need a winner because we can't lose both the innings. We have Gaurav Kapoor sitting there with the smug
he's
smile.
laughing maniacally in his room
I've
in
had
his
3
den.
goes at it. Not one of us in all those 3 goes has been close. So please, just one of us win. Never mind if it's not
Yeah,
me.
see, just one. So, I mean, we'll root for Mr. Shaun Pollock to win so he can get off the mark. We'll see if we do, and we'll give you all the updates, the 10-over point at the Cricbuzz Combox.
Jaipur via Kota,
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction,
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
হাইদ্রাবাদ 50 এক্সপ্রেস পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दियो